crush more soybeans here in state. There's going to be more meal going out, and there's going to be more beans that are going to be used right here inside of the state of Missouri. So I think we're going to be very beneficial there. I just think that this program fits in here again because of the already rail infrastructure stuff that's inside of it, and it's going to be very important for agriculture industry to move forward. This is a portion that does have a sunset on it because I believe it's a new program. It needs to prove its merit before we think about letting it go without any type of sunsets. But I'll be happy to take any questions.
I have a question, Senator. On the short line railroads or smaller railroad companies, is there a mileage that determines that they're a short line railroad?
That's a good question. I do not believe so. I think it's done, from what I understanding, it's done by grades. What you see is the track where the long 125, 150 car trains are going down.
Unit trains.
That's a grade 1. I do believe these are what they call grade 2 and 3. Had an opportunity a year and a half ago, as time runs together, to actually go ride on one. And a lot of these lines have a lot lower speed limits on them, right, just because the track might be starting to get a little warped. I think the one I was on specifically was put in the 1920s or 30s. So it was approaching a 100-year-old line and was not able to withstand, a 60-mile-an-hour moving train. But that train specifically, like one of the main things on that one was taking coal from the Kansas City region down south. But then also they were bringing, I think, meal up from the biodiesel plant that's down at Deerfield, getting that back up to the main lines and to go east or west.
Thank you. Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, anyone here to testify in favor of? And keep in mind, if you're testifying on these bills, please make sure to write on your witness appearance form if you're testifying on one or both of the bills, please. Proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Elena Fork. On behalf of the Missouri Corn Growers Association, we would like to go on record in support of both Senate Bill 864 and Senate Bill 913. We appreciate Senator Bean and Senator Gregory for bringing this legislation forward. The tax credit programs included in this bill help stimulate investment in key areas of Missouri's agriculture industry. Programs such as the New Generation Cooperative Incentive Tax Credit have been utilized by entities like Missouri's ethanol plants to establish and expand production in our state. These entities need to provide much-needed markets for corn farmers and give back to the communities they call home, providing jobs and supporting local economies. This bill also includes programs like the Higher Ethanol Blends Retailer Tax Credit, which incentivizes fuel retailers of all sizes to offer more fuel options for consumers at the gas pump and support our state's ethanol industry. For these programs to continue their mission of stimulating investments in Missouri's agriculture, it's important for those utilizing the programs to have long-term certainty that they will continue to be available continue to be offered in the future. Many of the projects these programs support are multi-year projects that require years of planning and coordination before they can open their doors. With these programs dependent on repassage through the General Assembly every few years, we fear this weakens their ability to do their purpose of attracting investment in value-added agriculture. This is why MCGA is supportive of any efforts to address the sunset on these tax credit programs and offer more long-term certainty that they will be a tool for investments in Missouri agriculture in the future. Thank you for your time this morning, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, next person to testify in favor of.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Ray McCarty, President of Associated Industries in Missouri, want to go on record in support of the bill, both bills, primarily because of the wood energy tax credit, which helps prevent sawdust from collecting into giant mounds. I don't know if you remember, before we had the wood energy tax credit, that was a real environmental problem, and we fixed it with this tax credit, which makes it reasonable cost to be able to take that and turn it into charcoal and other things to transport it. So we're supportive of that, as well as the short line railroad credit. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of this witness?
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing none, next person to testify in favor of, please.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Ben Travelis with the Missouri Soybean Association would like to go on record in support of both of these bills. Appreciate both Senator Gregory and Senator Bean for bringing this forward, and appreciate the committee members for always working diligently on these issues. Two things I will remind the committee of. There are a couple of technical corrections to the biodiesel programs, changing an "and" to an "or" to ensure that off-road diesel qualifies as originally intended by the General Assembly a few years back when establishing these programs. And then there's also a technical correction for the apportionment issue in our conversations with the Department of Revenue. Without anything else, again, would like to say that we support these bills and would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of this witness? Thank you. Anyone else here to testify in favor of? Please come forward.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Matt Amick testifying in favor of both bills with the Biodiesel Coalition of Missouri. The Biodiesel Coalition of Missouri consists of 5 biodiesel plants that produce 250 million gallons of Missouri-made fuel that supports farmers and rural economic development in the state of Missouri. I'll reiterate what Ben Travelos with Missouri Soybean said about the technical corrections, which are very important, providing that tax credit for off-road biodiesel. The second thing I'll say is on the new gen co-op tax credits and the biodiesel tax credits. The new gen co-op tax credits were instrumental in constructing the first two of the 5 biodiesel plants that were constructed in the state that started as farmer-owned plants and remain farmer-owned plants almost over the last 20 years. The biodiesel production and retail tax credits have been instrumental in providing more access and more demand for biodiesel in the state. They've been heavily utilized since they were enacted in 2022, and we're just looking forward to that long-term certainty for the biodiesel producers and the retailers and fuel suppliers that are providing the fuel so they can get a return on their investment, the blending infrastructure that they've constructed at their facilities, and for the farmers then and biodiesel producers that they have long-term certainty to accelerate demand for biodiesel and growth in the biodiesel industry. So with that, I'll answer any questions, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, next person to testify in favor of, please.
Mr. Chairman, Shannon Cooper today representing the Missouri Forest Products Association, the Missouri Cattlemen's Association, as well as the Railway Supply Institute. I want to go on record in support of both bills. We have numerous credits in this legislation that we're interested in. Rather than going through each piece and keeping you here for hours, I'll just open myself up for questions.
Any questions of this witness? Thank you for your
Thank you,
testimony.
Mr. Chairman.
Seeing none, next person to testify in favor of.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Mark Feigenbaum with Missouri Farm Bureau testifying in favor of Senate Bills 864 and 913. We want to thank the sponsors for bringing these forward. We believe these programs add value to agricultural products and incentivize investment in our agricultural businesses. And finally, we want to thank them for adding Chapter 148 to the meat processing tax credit that allows us to buy tax credits from our members who might not have the tax liability to take full advantage of the program. We're able to exchange that for cash and add it to our liabilities at no cost to them, so they don't have to pay for another service to do so. So we're very appreciative of that as well, and with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Is that $1 to $1 on the buying of the tax credit?
Should be, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for testifying. Anyone else have questions for the witness? Seeing none, next person to testify in favor of.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Tony Benz representing Missouri Agribusiness Association. We would like to go on record for support of both Senate Bill 864 and Senate Bill 913. Appreciate the opportunity to testify in favor of both of these bills. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions of this witness? Seeing none, next person to testify in favor of.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Tricia Workman here today on behalf of Poet Biofuels, and we'd like to go on record in support. We have 2 ethanol plants in the state of Missouri. Appreciate both the sponsors' work on this.
Any questions of this witness? Thank you for your testimony. Next person to testify in favor of, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Jason Zamkus, registered lobbyist on behalf of the Missouri Renewable Fuels Association. But for the New Gen Cooperative and Ag Product Utilization Tax Credit programs, we wouldn't have the ethanol industry that the state of Missouri enjoys currently. And for that reason, we'd like to go on record in support of both bills. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your testimony. And questions of this witness? Seeing none, next person to testify in favor of.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Jeff Van Schaik, Missouri Eastern Railroad, here in support of these packages, and in particular the railroad provision that Senator Gregory outlined that would help the short line railroad industry accelerate investment and provide economic development opportunities for the ag industry and other industries across the state. And Senator Berger, to further expand on Senator Gregory's response, the short line industry is categorized by revenue per the Surface Transportation Board, with the Class 1s being higher revenue railroads and everything else being Class 2 or 3 railroads.
Thank you.
I'm happy
Thank
to
you
answer
for
any
that.
questions.
Any questions of this witness? Thank you for your testimony. Next person in favor of.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Joe Arbona with the Missouri and Northern Arkansas Shortline Railroad. We serve primarily the western part of the state, and we serve a lot of agricultural customers, and we're here in support of both bills, SB 864 and SB 913. Really appreciate the two bills and the sponsors. And again, we think this would really help in economic development for the state and for agriculture. And I'm glad to answer any questions.
Any questions of this witness? Thank you for your testimony. Anyone else in favor of?
Thank you. Need all the help I can get. Hi, Bill Gamble with the Missouri Railroad Association. We'd like to go on record in support of the Short Line Railroad Tax Credit Program. For clarification, this doesn't pertain to Class 1s. There's been some confusion on the floor in the past. We don't get any benefit out of this. We're not asking for any benefit out of this, but we support the tax credit for short line railroads. They're very key to our whole transportation system in this state. So we heartily support the bill and be happy to answer any questions. And when I talk about Class 1s, we're BNSF, UP, CSX, Norfolk Southern, CPKCS.
Okay. Any questions of this witness? Thank you for your testimony. Next person in favor of, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brian Grace here on behalf of the Missouri Economic Development Council, testifying in support of both bills, largely because of the short line railroad tax credit.
Any questions of this witness? Thank you for your testimony. Anyone else in support of?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Emily Lewis, registered lobbyist on behalf of the Missouri Bankers Association, here in support of both of the bills, in particular the MASBTA programs that our members utilize to support their agriculture customers.
Thank you for your testimony. Anyone questions for this witness? Next person in favor of? Going once. Tony, you've already been up here, right? Anyone here to testify in opposition? Anyone here to testify for informational purposes only? Senators, any closing remarks?
Just real quick, we do plan on having a substitute next week that will mirror Senator Gregory's bill as well, to include the short line railroad tax credit. Also, just kind of a fun fact, I used to serve on the MASBTA board, just so you know, so I'm pretty familiar with those programs. And last but not least, congratulations on Senator Gregory for your induction into a great fraternity. And let me explain to you some of the traditions, which is buying lunch for the committee at least twice a week. So thank you.
And you can start that today on the 118th anniversary of my sorority. So you can just buy us lunch today. We'll let you know our orders.
What a great day. I'd be happy to do that for a fellow
Anyone want
Black
to testify
tonight.
in support of Senator Washington's motion?
Thank you, committee, for hearing this bill. One thing I forgot to mention, I think is very important. Why is rail vitally important? On average, one rail car of grain is 3 semi-loads that would be coming off of our roads. We all know about the wear and tear that we put on our highways and the truck congestion and the amount of cost that it is to upgrade and maintain our roads. So this is going to save congestion on the roads, put more stuff on rail, get it moved more efficiently. Thank you so much for hearing the bill.
This concludes the hearings on Senate Bill 864 and Senate Bill 913. No further business coming before the committee. I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Yes. Okay. They did fix the audio. They fixed the audio.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.